You know, you got to pick certain things that motivate you. The number one motivating thing for me, and I'm just being honest, was I was sick and tired of being poor. I was just exhausted. My mother was poor, my father was poor, my brothers and sisters were poor. All my friends were poor, all my relatives were poor. I lived in a poor neighborhood, we lived in a poor house. I was just like, wow, man, I watch TV. And I would see, you know, like at Christmas time, my father would put us in the car and take us out to the suburbs to see the Christmas lights. And I would see these big houses, man, with lights all on them, and they had horseshoe driveways where you just pull in and go all the way around. That was amazing to me. You know, we would pull up in the driveway, got to back out. You know, I've been doing that. And I kept saying, I told my father, I said, Dad, I said, why don't we get one of these houses? He said, boy, I ain't got no money for this kind of house. He said, but if you work hard, keep going to church like your mama say, you can make some money, you can buy you one of these houses. That was it. My motivation was to buy a big house so I could put up Christmas lights and drive in the driveway. And I'll tell you something. Every home I have, every house I've ever owned or built, you got to pull in one way and drive all the way around to come out there. I have never built, lived, or owned a home that did not have that driveway with gates on both sides. Never. That was the biggest motivating. So my advice is you have to find a dream that's so big that it overwhelms all of your fears and causes you to never give up. Now you're gonna think about quitting no matter what you do. I mean, I've thought about it many times, but I always just kept thinking about that house. And I've always dreamed of buying my mother and father a real house. And you know, and before they died, I was able to do all of that. Bought them houses and everything. So you just got to find the right motivation. There's some other pieces to that.
The number one lesson I could offer you where your work is concerned is this: become so skilled, so vigilant, so flat out fantastic at what you do that your talent cannot be dismissed. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You're only on this planet to be you, not someone else's imitation of you. I had to learn that the hard way on the air, live, anchoring the news. One night in my 20s, when I first started broadcasting, I was 19, moved to an anchor by the time I was 20, and I was just pretending to be Barbara Walters. I was just trying to talk like Barbara, act like Barbara, hold my legs like Barbara. And I was on the air and I hadn't read the copy fully, and I called Canada. And I did that on the air. I cracked myself up because I thought Barbara would never call Canada. And that little breakthrough, that little crack, that little moment that I stopped pretending allowed the real me to come through. Your life journey is about learning to become more of who you are and fulfilling the highest, truest expression of yourself as a human being. That's why you're here.
There's something I invented a long time ago, and when you have nothing to draw from, I was able to find strength in every molecule of this earth. I'm able to be in a room with nothing, with no motivation, no inspiration, nothing, and find it. So what I did in those situations was I invented this thing called taking souls. When everybody's all up and you're exhausted and you're weak and you're tired and you're looking around and everybody looks as bad as you or even worse, I'm like, you know what? I want to now make a statement. It's the perfect time to make a statement. To make a statement to let you know where your life ends and mine begins. And so the statement there is, I muster up every bit of strength from their looks on their faces and how they feel, and how I'm going to now, from my childhood, where I came from, how I was the bottom of the barrel, I'm now amongst all these uncommon people. I'm now going to now make you feel like you're common. So I use their sadness, their weakness, their parts of their life. God, this sucks. I'm like all poopy pants and messed up. I use that for my strength. And I have this moment of like, let's say we're in the sand, we're running or whatever. I will do a surge. I will do something. And everybody's like, how the f is he doing this? And from that look on their face, that feeling of, God, man, this guy must be something special. It then surges me further and faster and harder for a long time. So it's energy's everywhere. But the thing is, it's so loud. That voice in your head of pain and suffering and discomfort and I don't want to do this is so loud that you're unable to really calm it down and say, okay, there's something here. It's a patient calm that you have to bring yourself to say, I know I have something here, but that voice is so powerful that it wants you just to, let's leave.
Right.
We're done. It spazzes you out and you want to go versus saying, let's take a second. Hang on. Before we spaz out, hang on. And in that moment, you can think clearly and find that strength out there for you.
First of all, your morning routine starts the night before, so go to bed early. But I try to go to bed as close to 9 as humanly possible every night, save for the weekends. And in that, I sleep without an alarm, so I wake up when I wake up. The reason that I do that is because I want to get as much sleep as I need. So I'm all about cognitive optimization. So I'm not somebody who sets the alarm to make sure that I'm up at 4 in the morning, but when I wake up at 4 in the morning, I'm a very happy camper. I usually get, it used to be between 5 and 6. I'm now getting between 7 and 8. I have no idea why. It changed completely randomly and as far as I can tell without reason. But I wake up when I wake up. I give myself 10 minutes to get out of bed. And I do that because I'm lazy and my inclination is to lay in bed. So I need a bright line that says I get out of bed immediately without wasting time. So I'm out of bed in 10 minutes or less. I put my gym clothes next to my bed so that the easiest answer is to put my gym clothes on. In fact, I'd have to make a conscious choice not to, which thusly would trigger in me a lot of conflict emotionally because it is my identity to immediately go to the gym to work out again, partly for cognitive optimization and then also for longevity, for health and for aesthetics. But working out, I think, is incredibly important. And I actually think that for anybody that wants to achieve something extraordinary in their life, that the third thing that you need to focus on is mindset. The first two are diet and exercise, followed by mindset. So I hit the gym first and foremost. Immediately after the gym, I meditate. And the reason that I do that is because I want to practice going from the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, which you're triggering in the gym through the heavy exertion. Your heart rate is up, your breathing is shallow and rapid. And the idea is to very quickly switch over into the parasympathetic nervous system where you're getting into rest and digest, where you're calming all of that down. You're slowing your breath, your diaphragm breathing into the nose, out through the mouth, and really calming everything down. And I think practicing that transition is very important. And so that's why I do them back to back. But then on top of that, just meditating for any reason I think is really important.
From my perspective, when people ask me all the time, I lack discipline. How can I get discipline in my life? And no one wants to hear this answer. No one wants to hear it. One of the first steps you can take to impose discipline in your life is to wake up early in the morning. Because let's face it, when the alarm goes off, you got your head on that soft pillow. It's all nice and cozy and warm in there. You do not feel like getting up. And so he
doesn't even have a snooze alarm. He doesn't ever hit the snooze alarm.
Yep. And you should not. You should not. That snooze alarm is...
That's insane.
I call that snooze alarm the dream killer. Like when you press that snooze button, you're killing your dreams. So don't touch the snooze button. Now where I get
some would say that might be a little extreme.
No, where people get worried and people freak out is sleep is healthy, sleep is good for you. I know that, I get it. And people say, you're telling people not to sleep. No, I'm not telling people not to sleep.
You do 6 hours every night, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I usually go to bed around 10:30, 11, and I wake up at 4:30. So I get 5.5 to 6 hours almost every night, you know? And sometimes I tell people, I think sleeping is good. I do it almost every single day. So, but people will freak out and say, you're telling people to be unhealthy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not, if you need, different people have different genetic needs for sleep. I'm one of those people that doesn't need much. Of my 4 kids, My oldest daughter needs even less sleep than I do. My middle daughter sleeps more like my wife. My son's somewhere in the middle, which, by the way, that means my middle daughter, she gets out of bed when you get her out of bed in the morning. She likes to sleep. So I'm not telling people, hey, don't sleep, but I am saying put yourself on a schedule. And you ask why I don't sleep in. If I sleep in on a Saturday until 6 o'clock, that night I'm going to have more energy. And instead of going to bed at 10:30 or 11, I'm going to stay up until midnight because I got a little bit of extra sleep. Well, now that next day I'm going to sleep in a little bit more. Now all of a sudden Sunday I'm sleeping in until 7 o'clock. Now Sunday night I can't go to bed until 1 o'clock in the morning, and you see where I'm going with this. I go into Monday with a lack of sleep because I couldn't fall asleep. So the most important thing is set a good wake up time that works for you, where you get enough sleep, and then wake up that time every day if you can.
I say to my girls all of the time that your real work is to figure out where your power base is and to work on the alignment of your personality, your gifts that you have to give, with the real reason why you're here. That's the number one thing you have to do, is to work on yourself and to fill yourself up and keep your cup full. Keep yourself full. Now, I used to be afraid of that. I used to be afraid, particularly from people who say, oh, she's so full of herself. She's so full of herself. And now I embrace it. I consider it a compliment that I am full of myself. Because only when you're full, I'm overflowing, my cup runneth over. I have so much to offer and so much to give. And I am not afraid of honoring myself. It's miraculous when you think about it.
I work with a guy who's in a business like this for 5 years. I'm not going to mention his name. Yeah. He called me up 5 years ago and said, I want you to work with me. Yeah. His job, a big day for them was if you had 5 meetings and 40 calls, $40. That was like, according to their big business plan, that was a day. Yeah. He said, I want to make more money. All this just it's bogging me down. I said, this is your day? 5 meetings and 40 calls.
Like, do you start at 10 and you get 4?
And this company you work for says that this is a great day. This is what we want. I had this guy, one day he made 1,000 cold calls and had 7 meetings. So his new norm. Which is now the company. Like, how'd you become? He made 100,000, went to making $600,000 in 3 years. Yeah, that's the jump he had. Just because his mindset changed, because the company put this. This is what is a good day. A good day is 40 calls, 5 meetings. I said that's a bullshit day because you're comparing yourself with mediocre people. Bingo. Do not run with mediocre people. I'm going to tell you how to beat these mediocre people. This is your new 300 dials and 8 meetings. And his whole world changed.